Hello, Adam. How are you doing?
What's up, buddy? How are you, Russ?
I'm all right. What you up to?
Not much, pal. Just more of the usual. I'm getting a flight back to Ireland on Wednesday evening here. So you know yourself, just bits of packing, bits of cleaning around the house and wee bits and bobs, but all good. Excited to get back for a minute.
So, where are you now? San Francisco.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So just in the gaff here. Monday morning, sun is shining. And yeah, just be running around scampering, just sorting out wee bits and bobs between now and Wednesday evening, Paul.
Brilliant, brilliant. What did you think to
Yeah.
the show last night?
Thought it was, I mean, started the main event, obviously. Couldn't praise both fellas more. I thought the show was good. I mean, like maybe it was a better card on paper than it turned out. I mean, the fights were good, but obviously, look, the main event was the big one. Um, Yeah, both lads were just excellent. Obviously, I know we've had things to say about both fellas, but I think Clark proved something that I think a lot of people questioned. He hung in there. Um I thought, they were saying afterwards that the Clark team thought that the point deduction was unfair. He spat out the mouth guard twice. Me and Terry were chatting on Twitter yesterday. He spat it out twice. The second time, I think it was what, in round 9 or 10, he was badly, badly, badly hurt. And then what, it was three low blows. So I think at the bare minimum, I think 2 points might have been excessive, but he definitely deserved one deduction. Clark did. But he got up off the deck, he stuck in there, he found a second wind. I mean, Wardley is just tougher than tough, man. Um, I know afterwards he said the nose, it looked worse than it was. That kind of just again kind of talks about or kind of stands out about how tough he is. But you could see he was out on his feet multiple times, and he just found that sixth gear from somewhere, man. I didn't score it live just because I was enjoying the fight far too much from like the second round. Um, I don't have many problems with the draw. Again, I'll go back and watch it and try and score it. But yeah, mate, I don't know. I think it's one of the more fairer draws. I know like the whole Nick Ball controversy a couple of weeks ago, but I think last night might have been one of the fairer draws I've seen in boxing in a long time. What do you think, mate?
I thought a draw would have been fair because if it had gone either way, they'd all been squabbling, wouldn't they, for 6 months.
Yep,
So
yep.
a draw, everybody goes home happy. But I thought Wardley, I thought he had a touch there with that draw.
You thought he got a wee bit lucky?
Yeah, but you've seen him go either way with that tight, wasn't it? Don't forget, Big Freeze
Yeah,
had a point dot deducted for a low blow, and he got put on his arse, didn't he?
I agreed. And that's what I'm saying. Like I think he was complaining after saying like, oh, that Wardley was should have got deducted a point too.
The
I think
ref done
all
it with a point, didn't he? The ref.
yeah, yeah, he
That's
did.
who done him.
But it was the third time, and like I said, I mean, Clark took every advantage he could get. Like in my opinion, he spat out the mouth guard twice when he was in trouble. So look, low blows can happen. We've seen this in boxing with Dubois Usyk, and it's questionable. But look, he spit out the mouth guard. We saw it with AJ when he fought Ruiz the first time. Like there's certain times when boys are getting it tough or they don't want to be in there, they'll spit out the mouth guard for extra time. But yeah, mate, maybe he was like I thought Clark won. I thought the rounds that Clark won, he won a lot clearer than the ones where Wardley won, if that makes any sense. I thought Clark started really well, in fairness to him. His timing and his distance control was good early. Um, and then, like I said, I my whole thinking going into it was if Wardley does get to him and he gets him down once, he'll be able to crumble Clark. But again, fair play to him. Clark got up, he found a second wind, he got back into the fight. Um, so yeah, mate. Look again, tough one to score. I'm not unhappy with the draw. Um, you know, Clark did win. Wardley loses both belts. I don't know. Yeah, like I say, I go around it 100 times. I think the draw is a pretty fair result. I'll go back and watch it, um, but yeah, great fight. For me, fight of the year so far. I know we're
Yeah.
only on the 1st of April, but it had a bit of everything. And look, it wasn't Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux from a technical standpoint. But both lads had very tough moments in there. Both lads showed like strength, courage, bottle, minerals, every adjective you can think of. Great fight, brilliant for boxer, great for British boxing, and the two lads come out with more credit than they went in with. So, uh, big congrats to both men. Fair play.
Yeah. What next then for It's Big Freeze and Wardley?
Ah, I mean, the rematch is everyone who's a fight fan is going to be asking for that rematch for good reason. And Shalom made a good point afterward. He was like, you know, for both men, and I would find it hard to disagree with this. Like but he said for both men, it's the biggest fight that's going to make the most money, so it's probably going to happen. Obviously Wardley is represented by Dillian White, the can man. Um, I mean, if they were to go their separate ways, I don't think it's a fight that we'd see happen. I think it'd be kind of a funny storyline of, yeah, it'll never happen because he's managing them. But can you imagine now Dillian White, the manager, went in to try and finish the job if he got Clark or something like that? But it'd almost be like pro wrestling. I would like to see the rematch, mate. I think it's set up very well. I know it's an easy answer, but I think it's set up well. It'll sell out in 2 minutes after that first fight. You would think both men should be able to probably double their fee from the last fight, given how good it was. It'll generate more money. So I would probably like to see them uh go at it again, in all honesty.
You think they'll build it up for a couple of years to get it to be pay-per-view?
Uh I mean, maybe. I mean, the one thing, maybe it's more superficial. Maybe it's scar tissue, Wardley's nose. I mean, I thought he looked like a jack-o'-lantern in there after about 5 rounds, man. He looked like something out of a horror movie. But he reckons it's more superficial than, proper damage. But either way, that snaz is gonna take, Jesus, I
Nine
don't
months.
know.
9 months.
Yeah, long time, mate. Long time. And I mean, look, Wardley doesn't strike me as a guy that takes sparring lightly either. You
No.
know, he's rough and tumble. Training camp, in the ring, the whole 9 yards. So I would say the earliest we would see that rematch anyway would probably be, 13, 14, 15 months. Um,
What I'd say to them now, I'd say this. If I were Dylan White, I'd say to Ben Shalom, sign Fabio, then you've
mm-hmm,
got him locked down because you've already got Clark, it's Big Freeze.
mm-hmm.
Sign me as well. I come with Fabio.
Mm,
Me and can piggyback in with Charlotte. But White Collar Wardley in with Sky, can't he? Because Eddie's blocked him now, hasn't he? And I don't think
yeah,
he's get anything out of Bricktop because he didn't help promote that Fury fight, did he?
correct. Mate, you're cooking. You're absolutely. I hadn't really thought about that. I just thought about, like I said, pro wrestling storylines. The manager would fight the guy and all this. But
No,
man,
it's
that's a
it's just logic. That's how everybody who's in industry will be thinking, managers and trainers and people like that. They'd be putting their hat on as Ben Shalom,
yeah,
as Dillian, and as putting their hat on as White Collar Wardley, and be looking at it what's best for them. Now,
yep,
I don't think Wardley's going to fight for maybe 9 months to a year. So it's Big Freeze. He's going to have to keep chugging along with Sky, isn't he? But
mm-hmm,
Wardley, because he's going to be out, could sign a deal with Sky, knowing that he's still got some when he comes back. And Dylan could use that to piggyback in because he's on outside now, isn't he? Because Eddie's more or less said we're not going to do it now, and he more or less.
yep,
And like you
yeah.
said, Big Top saying he'll work with him. He's have to say that in case Turkey wants to, but Dylan could sign with Sky and Sky could sign Dylan. And then Sky get their piece at Saudi pie, don't they? So it works for everybody, doesn't it?
It does, mate. And that's what I'm saying. It's rare. Like you see these deals happen a lot where maybe 2 out of 3 parties, generally in boxing, at least one party usually gets the short end of the stick. But I think in this instance, for Wardley, White, and Shalom, and Boxer, obviously in Sky Sports, I think everyone would be a winner. Um, because you by signing that deal, you're guaranteeing the rematch. Fight sells itself, you know what I mean? You've also got, regardless of what we think of him and whether he should be fighting and this and that, like in regards to Dillian White, you've got a household British domestic name in there who will still sell tickets, especially in London. Um, so you've got another household name in there, and you're building out the stable. Look, White's not going to be in the sport for long, but even still. So yeah, mate, I like it. I think it works. I'm not obviously jumping with joy. I wouldn't be running out to see White fight again, like we've talked about. But even still, I think this would be a good deal, mostly for Clark and Wardley. So yeah, man, I would like to see it. I would like to see that kind of work out. I think it'd be good for the sport domestically, for sure.
You think that's as far as white collar Wardley goes now?
Um, you mean like fight Clark in the rematch?
No, he's level.
Maybe it's close, mate. Maybe it's close. I mean, I thought you know, bless you, Chief. I thought for maybe three and a half rounds, I thought Clark had it mostly his own way. Um, and then again, I'm not digging out Wardley. I love the fella. I think he's a cult hero after last night. Instantly, I know where you're coming from when you talk about pedigree and you want a Clark to win. But it's still a great underdog story, Wardley. You know what I mean? He's only been boxing, what, 6 or 7 years. And he's in there fighting or defending British and Commonwealth belts. It's a great achievement, you know what I mean? Regardless of what you think of the fella. I think that'll probably be close. I mean, maybe. The one thing I would say for Wardley, and I'm not saying he's down to a puncher's chance, but the fella does bang as well.
Fast
Like
as well, isn't he?
oh, he is, man. Like he closes the distance great. He's got good hand speed. Um, and he fights well on the inside. Like I know he was looking for that overhand right a lot, similar to what Cash Ali was looking for against Joe Joyce. But I'll tell you what, if that thing lands flush on anybody in the heavyweight division, you're in big trouble, pal. And Wardley's got the dog in him to kind
What
of
about
finish.
Wardley at Bridgerweight against the Coley?
Um, Jesus, yeah. What's the Bridgerweight limit again? It's 220. What is it? 220?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
220. Yeah. Be a
15,
fight.
isn't it? I think it's
Yeah.
oh, actually, because it's that unknown, isn't it?
I think it's like 220 or 220 because they were saying Wilder could get down to it because he's always been in between with the small legs and stuff. Yeah, I would like to see it. Again, I think anything that's good for British boxing is good for this channel and good for boxing in general, obviously, where we are in the world. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, mate, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Same thing, if Wardley can detonate and land the shot, I think he would have a Coley in a world of hurry. He obviously, look from a technical boxing standpoint, I think a Coley would have his number nine times out of 10. Um, but then again, a Coley didn't look like a world beater against Billum Smith last time out. He took shots that you wouldn't expect him to take. So yeah, mate, I wouldn't mind seeing it at all. I think that'd be good. I don't, the last thing I want to see happen is this Josh Taylor Catterall thing, where it just simmers on for years and years and years, and then you get to the point where you don't really care about the rematch. I
Does
know
anybody
this,
really care now?
not, I'm speaking for myself, mate. Look, I'll definitely watch it if it's on. But I'm not marking my calendar for it. You know, uh, Look, it's a decent domestic fight. I think a lot of people forget how bad the first fight was just because of how controversial the decision was. It wasn't a great watch at all. So I'm not clamoring for it. I more want to see it just to get it out of the way for both men, because when Josh Taylor comes up, the first thing anybody asks him about is Adam Catterall, or sorry, Jack Catterall. And then when the same thing, vice versa, when Jack comes up, the first question anyone asks him is about is Josh Taylor. If you're putting yourself in their shoes, I would be very annoyed. That's all they're talking about for the last 3 years. So just so they can both get the monkey off their back, I want to see it happen. Um, but I want to see Clark Wardley for very different reasons. I want to see it because to me it was fight of the year. Two big massive fellas that were willing to put it on the line and and risk it all. And they both finished the fight on their feet. And like I said, they both come out with more credit in the bank than they went in with. So I want to see that. I don't want to see it go stale or one of the boys get crucified and then never be the same fighter again. Yeah, just when the iron's hot, mate, let's let that schnoz heal up for Wardley and get the two boys back in there.
Would you put Johnny Fisher in with It's Big Freeze?
Uh,
Little Johnny Bosch?
I mean, be a fine fight. I would fancy Big Freeze after last night. Just because again, he showed something. And then look, I can kind of contradict myself by saying he spat out the mouth guard, but overall he lasted the 12 rounds after a knockdown. He showed me something that I didn't know that he had, in fairness to him. So now for himself, knowing that he's got that fire in his stomach and he's willing to bite down on the mouth guard, I would probably fancy him to beat Fisher. Maybe a similar fight to last night, but I would fancy him to beat him a bit more easily.
You know what he reminded me of?
Who?
Big Freeze. You know when they were digging them uppercuts in slowly, he reminded me of like a thought. It was like George Foreman-esque. You
It
know, with
was
that funny ponderous. Did you think?
a little bit.
Yeah, I did. I'll probably get roasted to death for that comment. But honestly, I thought it was like, Big George when he used to wing them in.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's another reason why it was such a good fight, man. Because when Wardley got inside, the two boys were happy to stand in there for 6, 7 seconds. And Clark was getting off those big shots. I thought Wardley's movement on the inside in parts. I thought for a heavyweight, I thought he dodged punches quite nicely, with his head movement, upper body movement. But even Terry was saying, man, like if Clark's kind of unlucky in the sense that I don't think for how big he is, he hits that hard. Like you're saying, like those big shots he was landing. I think if there was an extra maybe 12% grease on them and power, I think he could have dropped Wardley a couple of times or any other fighter. I think for a big 19 stone man, I don't think he really punches like he's 19 stone. So I don't know. I don't know if that's something we can work on, but no, man, he did kind of remind me of Foreman at times when he was letting them rip on the inside. Yeah, just great fight. You know what I mean? Really good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, what a good fight. You think he'll be fighting here?
Uh I mean, we're literally on the first day in Q2. 1st of April. Obviously, everybody's got recency bias. You remember the most recent fight and stuff. Look, it could be fight of the year, of course. It's like it's got goal of the year in the Premiership. You see one early and you think that won't be beat. It could be beat. But it'll take some beating. It's that for me anyway. It's fight of the year so far, and we've had some very good ones. But yeah.
They're saying September for its big freeze for return. Well, he's 33 in August, so do you think he needs to get a move on now?
I mean, potentially, like, I know we can, I know from a hardcore perspective, sometimes we can complain about, layups, and we've talked about this with Yard. The last fella in the Yard fought that he was, just there's no in between. I wouldn't mind seeing Clark get a stay busy fight in September if we get the rematch. Look, he's 33. I don't like seeing anybody kind of get layups. But if it's for the right cause, I don't mind it. If he fights somebody, half decent, wins, and then they announce Clark Wardley in the ring after or something. So what? That's what that'll be 15 months taken care of. Then he'll be 34 by the time him and Wardley fight again. So if I was Shalom, that's what I'd be looking at, mate. Get that deal wrapped up. Have a stay busy fight for him. Get Wardley in the ring after if he wins, obviously. Have the two boys face off. Announce Wardley Clark 2, the O2 in the new year, 2025, or April this time, maybe 2025, something like that. And that's the two boys taken care of nicely. So that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, it's well, Wardley's nose were a right mess though, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. Jesus. Oh my God. He even kind of zoomed in at the very end after, and it showed his corner wiping him down, man. And I don't know how his nose was split, but the blood was spraying out. Like it wasn't spraying down. It wasn't coming out of his nostrils. I don't know if it was like, do you remember in Raging Bull? Do you remember the fella that Jake LaMotta's wife said he was handsome or whatever?
Mm.
And then Jake LaMotta goes in and just like tears his face off, basically, where he splits the nose and the blood's coming out like from the cut. It looks similar to that, man. It was
It
just
would
an
have beat down, wasn't it, from Big Freeze, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah,
It would have Big Freeze beat down, wasn't it? The giant Karamak Easter egg had his coming out party, didn't he?
yeah, yeah. I mean, again, I go back to it. I think if he had like 15% more pop, he probably gets Wardley out of there. Like if you look, even at the very, very, very end of the fight, Wardley was just able to stay up, and no more. And again, I think that's what obviously look, if he drops, he 10-8 and he loses the fight. But I think it took every bit of strength he had in him to stay on his feet at the end. And she like that knows as well, whatever about the pain, but it would have screwed up his breathing so much. You're inhaling blood down the back of your throat. You're not able to take in clean air. So yeah, mate, it was definitely punishing, no doubt about it. I mean, Big Clark didn't look that bad coming out of the ring, in fairness. So yeah, I can kind of see where him and the camp are coming from in regards to, he walks away with no belts and you'd be disappointed. But yeah, if it means a rematch and a decent payday for both the boys, then fire away.
They were saying they're going to do it down line and build it up and go for pay-per-view. Then yeah,
Yeah, I mean
that's
that's
what you do. Because if they do it now, they're not going to get pay-per-view, are they?
mm,
If they do it next,
yeah, doubtful. I mean, uh look, look, we've talked about this before. What should be pay-per-view and what shouldn't. On paper, it probably shouldn't be. It's for a British and Commonwealth title. But given how good put it this way, right? If Boxer put together a whopper card, like even stronger than they had last night, I think you could sneakily do it as a pay-per-view, mate, Like I'm not saying it's gonna sell a million buys or anything like that. But like if you could get Ben Whitaker in there with like a higher level opponent, not like obviously it's not going to be a world title fight, but like somewhere where you're like, all right, well hopefully we'll have to see a different gear or we'll have to see something new from him here. If you stacked out the card, um, I don't know, with enough build up, mate, maybe 15, 18 months down the line, from now, you could maybe do it as a pay-per-view. But I mean, put it like this: if Joe Joyce, I know they're bigger names. I get that completely. But if Joe Joyce and Joe Parker was a pay-per-view on BT, I think you could make this rematch as a pay-per-view on Sky.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so, mate. It's close. I'm not saying it's not a slam dunk. I think it's close. But you unless there's a miracle, we know for a fact we're gonna get another banger of a fight. Um, and we've seen this before, mate. When you wait and wait and wait, deals go away, people retire, boys get their orbitals broke, boys, boxing, a week's a long time in boxing, never mind a year. So my worry would be, one of them loses a fight or, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I would just try. Um, yeah, like I say, when the iron's hot, because Shalom, it was a good night for them last night, obviously, with the majority of boxer fighters winning.
There were a lot there, wasn't there?
Yeah, Yeah, mate, worked out very well for them. Obviously with Congo, just everybody. Um, so yeah, mate, I think kind of Boxer and Shalom got a break last night that they maybe deserved a wee bit of good luck. And I think they would be wise to not let it go stale and just try and keep a bit of momentum going. Because the likes of look, obviously they had their moment in the sun on Saturday, but now it's Monday morning. Oh, sorry, Monday morning in America. The likes of Hearn and Bricktop, they're going to be hungry for blood. They're going to try and be taking them down a peg on overdrive because they had a big night on Saturday. So yeah, mate, I would probably risk it and try and do it as a pay-per-view. Big pay-per-view card in 18 months. Obviously, if they're still there and they still have full control Boxer. But you think too, like, but Ben Whitaker's out every 2, 3, 4 months. You think in the next 18 months he can have another 3 fights or at least 2 fights, and you can build him up more. Um, so yeah, I think they can make it work. I love that Whitaker fella too. I think he's uh I think he's going from strength to strength, and I think the best is obviously yet to come. So I think they have a really, really, really good asset in Whitaker if they handle him the right way. So fair play to them.
Yeah. So will it be an happy Easter for its big freeze?
Uh I would say it's more no than yes because obviously look he has gained a lot of respect from a lot of people that maybe didn't
Yeah,
like him.
we're team big freeze, aren't we? Now it's big freeze. We're team it's big freeze, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Yes. Look, same way. Well, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself. Same way, I'm Team Campbell Hatton, and we'll get on to him in the split with his uncle.
Yeah.
But if fellas are willing to go in there and go at it, that's all I need to be a fan. Honestly, if you're willing to put it all on the line for one night,
Yeah.
that's all I need. That's all I need to see, mate. As a fan, you can take my money and you can take my support. Clark did that again. I didn't really think that he had the stomach for it going in. When I saw him get knocked down, I thought, yeah, this is good night for Big Fraser. But he got up, he handled himself. But ultimately, look, he's walking away with no belts. He does have the credit and the respect. But
Sometimes that's worth more than belting it.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying if I'm him and I'm in my own head now and I'm sitting in the house on Bank Holiday Monday, you're probably
We
a bit
feel a
upset.
bit badly done to Carney with decision, I suppose. But we've
Yeah,
seen them go other way, haven't we?
we have. We have. But yeah, look, like you said, he's got the respect now in spades.
Yeah.
And he's got a guaranteed blockbuster domestic rematch. Uh
Anytime
if
he wants it next 2 year.
Yeah, yeah, and like it'll sell out. You would think that would sell out the O2. You would think the same day. But that's what I'm saying too, man. I
Dylan
can't.
will know that as well, won't he, Dylan?
Yeah, yeah, no, he will. But I can't stress it enough, mate. Things go stale. Things fall off a cliff. Keep this momentum now.
Well, one thing
Um,
for Dylan White, he's got some ammunition now, hasn't he?
he does.
Still got British title, and his guy's just been in a fight at year.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
absolutely.
can man will be happy as Larry today, because if Eddie wants to come to the party with him, he can, like I said, he can negotiate for himself. Because well, I've got Wardley, we come as a pair. That's
Yep.
what any logical manager would.
Yeah.
Anybody. It's just logical. And if they
No,
work with people they don't like, do they care? The brass neck on most of them is off the charts, isn't it?
absolutely. It's funny too. Like us, it was just Easter weekend. We're talking about Christ has risen and all that. The can man has risen from the ashes. Didn't take him long, did it? A couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He's been interviewed last night. He's a flavor of the month, this and that. So, look, man, this is boxing. Like we said earlier, a week in boxing's a long time. Never mind a year. Um, and it seems like White has got 9 lives, and he's probably used up one of them with that clearance recently. But he's back in a good position. His fighter's in a good position. So yeah, we'll probably see them as a pair for the foreseeable future. But yeah, look, it seems like he's done like Wardley has nothing but good to say about him. It seems like he's kind of steered him well. And look, he obviously has. A fella came from white collar and he's now British and Commonwealth champion. It's a brilliant achievement. So yeah, fair play to both men, Wardley and Clark. And that'll keep the can man around and keep him relevant. So yeah, mate, good night of
Okay.
boxing.
Florian Marco lost against Congo. What did you think to that? Adam?
Um, Obviously, I thought the decision was fair. Thought Congo had a good game plan. Yeah, mate, it just obviously the fight had to go a very specific way for Marku to win, and he just wasn't for one reason or another. He wasn't able to make the fight go his way. Um, I thought Congo managed his distance very well, overall over the whole fight. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Marku's great to watch if he's in the right fight. Like, styles make fights, that goes without saying. But yeah, I just don't think he was able to kind of drill down and get his game plan going. And Congo was able to kind of, I wouldn't say stroll, but um able to get a clear victory. So not that surprised. I Congo winning kind of like the way he did. And yeah, just didn't think it was a decent fight. Didn't think the result was that surprising. And Congo moves on.
Yeah. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Chris
Yeah.
Congo. Terry always rated him. Dennis had a chance to sign him.
Really? A couple of years ago.
Oh, he's London, we're Sheffield. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, good fighter is Congo. I'm not dissing him. I just thought like, kind of similar to the Clark Wardley fight where like, we talked about Wardley had to make it a dog fight to win. I thought it was the same, very similar setup for Marku, but he wasn't able to have half of the success the big Wardley did. But yeah, look, like I said, Marku's a good watch. I think if you match him correctly, I think it'll make for a barn burner every time. He comes to fight. And like I said on this call, respect any man that comes and puts it all on the line. So yeah, both lads leave with obviously Congo with a win and he moves on, but I don't think Marku lost a mad amount of respect or anything like that in defeat. So yeah, mate, they both can kind of hold their heads high.
Good. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
wins for Callum Simpson and Babbitt as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think to that?
Uh yeah, look, good wins. Like I said, I think the card kind of transpired nicely for Boxer overall. I don't know, did they have a losing fighter? I don't even know if they did.
What last
So
night?
what's that, sorry, Paul?
What last night?
Yeah, I'm just thinking now, off the top of my head, I don't think any other their stable lost.
No, they all won, didn't they? All boxers, like, because it's Big Freeze, Drew, didn't he? So he
Yeah,
didn't lose.
did they
Cox
exactly?
must be a boxer, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I said, look, the rest of the fights, I didn't think there was anything. I didn't think there were any major surprises. Um, in terms of how the fights played out.
What about Ben Whitaker? What do you think to him?
Man, like I said earlier, I love him. I know some people say he's Marmite, but yeah, I'm just a big fan. I think he's a good talker. He's a slick looking guy. He's great in the ring. Um, yeah, I'm just a big fan. I thought when he got him down in the first, I thought that maybe this is his chance to kind of get like a quick finish and just kind of add that to the highlight reel. It didn't play out that way. Williams was very willing, pardon the pun. You know what I mean? He didn't lie down after getting knocked down. So, um, yeah, I think the rounds is good experience for him too, man. Uh, at this level, given how many pro fights he's had. Um, and yeah, he moves on. Like I don't really get this whole Marmite thing. Like, look, I get why some people mightn't like his style and stuff, but we always, it's always like that saying, if you could walk on water, there'd be one person laughing at you because saying you can't swim. You'll never keep everybody happy. Um, but everyone's talking about, this fighter's too corporate and this fighter's too manufactured and this guy never speaks the truth. At least Ben Whitaker is himself. He's authentic. You know what I mean? You have to give him that. And I don't think there's that much authenticity in boxing anymore at all, Paul. So I'm a big fan. I want to see him kind of progress, and he could be the next British, superstar in terms of consistent world title fights, if he's managed right. So
He's
yeah,
rubbing people up wrong way though.
I mean potentially, man, but yeah, that's what I'm like. I just in my mind, I think he's just being authentic, and I would rather see that than see somebody trying to keep, a friend to all is a friend to none. He's not trying to keep everybody on side. He's being himself. And in my opinion, that's all you can really be, or that's all you should be in life. So look, he will lose a few fans, absolutely. And there's a few people, but man, it goes back to the Floyd Mayweather formula. Half the people watching Floyd wanted to see, maybe more. Let's say 60% of people watching Floyd wanted to see him lose, and the other 40% either wanted to see him win or they just wanted to see the sweet science. And it's the same for John Jones in the UFC. Sometimes it's good having people hating you, man, in combat sport, because they'll still watch you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
those,
these bin men that they're putting him in with, though, aren't they? These guys, these Leon Willings and that, the bin men, aren't they?
yeah. Look, he's multiple levels above them, and that's what I'm saying. I think he's been out so frequently that I think in the next year, 18 months, you can move him up a level or two, at least one level, you know, um, because yeah, I think if you have two more of these kind of blowout wins, people are kind of I talk constantly, don't let it go stale. He needs to move up the level soon. But then again, he does need rounds. I would like to see him and against a better standard next time out, and maybe fight that standard for another fight or two max, and then and then go looking about maybe a vacant title in like I don't know, 18 months to 2 years, something like that. It just depends, man. Like boxer are in a weird position where like, if you're a Bricktop or an Eddie Hills, you have the luxury of having the time and the money and the stable to bring through fighters in the way that you want to. Now, I know Kell Brook back in the day said the Bricktop brought him through too slowly, and I kind of do agree with him. But I don't know if Boxer and Ben Shalom have that time on their side where they can maybe do things as slowly as bigger promoters have done. No, I'm not saying they rush Whitaker out too quickly, but I think they might have to move a wee bit quicker than the likes of a Hills or a Bricktop, obviously to keep their asset and stuff. Um, so yeah, let's see Ben Whitaker kind of run through the gears in the next 2 years, Paul. But I mean, what do you look? He's got potential for days, right? I mean, he's box office.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you think to the show as a whole? What would you get as a 10? What would you get out of 10?
Probably. I mean, it was solid. I'd probably go 7.5, between 7 and 8, something like that.
I'm gonna give him a 9.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Um, yeah, I'll say, you know what? I'll say an 8. I think that's 7.5 or an 8, somewhere between there. I think that's fair.
Right.
Um, yeah, I think they deserved, like we said, I think they deserved a wee bit of luck. And they got it. Good card, Easter Sunday. Very, very good. So, no, fair play to them. I was happy to see them do a turn. Do you want to jump on, Paul? Next link?
Yeah, we're going to part 2. Thanks for
Nice one.
liking and subscribing and leaving a comment and following us on TikTok. Porky's Corner, official TikTok it is, but I don't run it. Cameron runs it. Okay, we'll see you on part 2. Booyaka.